Somebody blew up the Georgia Guidestones. The Georgia Guidestones were blown up. Robert C. Christian did all that work. June 1979. Robert G. Christian in 1979 in Elbert County in Georgia got these big-ass granite, the largest stones quarried in the county. 4 of them stood at 16 feet tall. 16-foot tall slabs of basically one big-ass rock. They weighed over 20 tons each. The very top, you had 5 stones. The capstone was 25,000 pounds. And why would the county destroy the rest of it? You had somebody that bombed it, and one of the 4 things was, one of the 4 has been destroyed. And then they just destroyed the rest of it. They said that it wasn't structurally sound, and so they went ahead and destroyed the rest of it. The Liberty Bell's cracked. Might as well throw it into the damn incinerator. Might as well melt them down into bronze bracelets. The Liberty Bell's cracked. Why not just chuck the Liberty Bell into the Grand Canyon? It got cracked. One of the things, so my God, you had Stonehenge, right? If a million years came back, they said, what the hell? Stonehenge was able to survive, but not something that happened in the modern history. You have all these Confederate assholes. How come they're not pissed off that this piece of history was destroyed? Apparently Ted Turner built them. That's the rumor. There's a rumor that Ted Turner built them. He was, crazy, had big money, zany personality, so here's some of the rules. What are the rules? What did these damn Georgia guidelines, what did people have a problem with? First of all, who the hell built them? That was fucking weird, right? Robert C. Christian. That's not his name. That's not his actual name. Robert, hey, my name's Robert C. Christian. Robert C. Christian, at your service. John M. Christian. So the rumor here, okay, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Number 1, here's the 10 rules. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature twice. Prize truth, beauty, love. Seek in harmony with the infinite. Balance personal rights with social duties. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Let all nations rule internally. Resolve external disputes in a world order court. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Unite humanity with a living new language. Guide reproduction wisely. Improve in fitness and diversity. And maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. So, unite humanity under... Okay, so, not maintain. So let me say that again. Be not a cancer on earth. Leave room for nature. Prize truth, beauty, and love. Seek in harmony with the infinite. Balance personal rights with social duties. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Let all nations rule internally. Resolve external disputes in a world order court. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. With fair laws and just courts. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Unite humanity with a living new language. Guide reproduction wisely. Improve in fitness and diversity. And maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Alright, so just off the top, let's compare those 10 rules with Jordan Peterson's 10 rules. Stand up straight with your shoulders back. Treat yourself like someone you're responsible for helping. Make friends with people who want the best for you. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. Set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. Pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. Tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Assume that the person you're listening to might know something you don't. Be precise in your speech. Do not bother children when they're skateboarding, and pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. Those are the 12 rules of life. Those are the 12 rules of life. So it's a good thing he wrote that in a book and he didn't put it on some Guidestones in Georgia. What the fuck? Why the hell? Who the hell? You have all these conspiracy theorists and they just go on and on. Who the hell is this Robert C. Christian? It doesn't make sense that somebody said he might have been a white supremacist, but he says guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. That doesn't sound like a white supremacist. Read the language. That is not the language of the whole point. Is the bring about an age of reason. If we have an apocalypse and the whole world is destroyed, then we would have had these stones that would have been there, and then we would have had Guidestones. They were written in 8 different languages. And so when, everything has gone to hell in a handbasket, you go back and you say, well, where did we go wrong? And these Guidestones would actually help us, because if everything's destroyed, we did fuck up big time. People make a big deal about the 500 million people. There was 4.5 billion people in the world in 1980, apparently. Right? 4.5 billion. Is that true? I Googled it. It said that was true. So I don't remember but anyways, 4.5. So that means that's assuming we would lose some people. But I guess if there's a big apocalypse, so people are saying, see, that's the globalists, that's the elite saying when this shit hits the fan, this is the new rules that they want us to listen to and abide by. My God, the amount of time and effort that went into these, this is better than Stonehenge. Like the one point, you could see the North Star, Polaris. It's lined up with the winter and the solar solstice. It's lined up with the stars. It's lined up with the seasons. Lined up with the stars and Earth. And what the fuck? The monument stands at the highest point in Elberton. So in Georgia, the highest point, purchased for $5,000. The capstone on top is astronomically aligned with the North Star. There's an additional stone to the west of the structure. On its inscribed notes and a history of the Guidestones. There's a book about the Guidestones. There's not only is it tourism, where are the damn Confederate motherfuckers? This is, historical. This is interesting history. And this happened in the 1979, 1980. So for 40 years, we got to have this, sort of neat little historical thing. What was it bothering? Oh my God, it's the globalist. What if it was the globalist? They're telling us what? I don't know. Here's what I will say. If the whole world is destroyed, we do need to have some list of rules to say, okay, we really fucked up, this time, the last time, let's not fuck up again. And not just, let's hope not to fuck up. We're not going to fuck up. We will never fuck up ever again. So it's written in 8 different languages, including Russian, which is interesting. The 8 different languages was Swahili. That's an African language. Again, this is not the language of the Confederacy. Well, we need to make sure that the people of Africa understand the Swahili, Hindi, Hebrew, Arabic, Chinese, Russian, Spanish, English. 19-foot tall monuments inscribed with 10 guidelines in 8 different languages. So really, if you got the 10 guidelines and you don't need the Georgia guidelines, but that's interesting that just a rock monument in the middle of nowhere was pissing some people off enough that they're like, we got to blow it up. We got to get rid of this. We got to get rid of it. A benign rock with some messages, kind of like the 10 Commandments, right? Some benign rock off to the side. Meanwhile, brick and mortar institutional buildings are destroying people's lives. A cohesive message is located on each face of the 4 large upright stones and were regarded as the guidelines for humanity. So English, Spanish, Russian, Chinese. And Chinese, was it Mandarin? There's 2 different, in Arabic, Hebrew, Hindi, Swahili. Is that getting the major language groups? I'm not for sure. The major languages of the world? I'm not for sure. Are we missing any? You had one notable inscription said, let these be guidestones to an age of reason. Somebody had mentioned that, this is just like Thomas Paine. Thomas Paine wrote a book called The Age of Reason. Watch out. Beware the Ides of Thomas Paine and his book, The Age of Reason. Right. I'd be shocked if anybody read that motherfucking book or even skimmed that motherfucking book. In America, somebody read Thomas Paine, and then the person that was bitching about it was like, he's trying to erase that the founding fathers founded America on Judeo-Christian values. Thomas Paine is a founding father, motherfucker, so, he's not trying to erase anything. Thomas Paine was atheist as atheist could be. So there's, one example. His entire life is just an example of how we weren't founded on Judeo-Christian values. That's just common sense, isn't it? Thomas Paine, common sense, you know what I'm talking about? No? Okay, America, that's Montesquieu says, in a democracy without virtue, we all just perish. So it's a good thing America is just bursting with virtue all over the place. It also lists various facts such as the size, weight, origin, and astronomical features of the landmark in rural Georgia. The 10-part message on the vertical stones is what proved controversial, with some claiming the commandments were instructions on an incoming New World Order. Maybe. But I mean, really, if we destroy ourselves, we need some other fucking rules. And I don't, who knows where it came from. I don't think it fucking matters. Do you have 10 rules that are better than these rules? Then let's listen. Let's hear your 10 rules. Somebody said, here's 10 rules. Made it real simple. Made it real easy. I got 10 rules. You want to know what my 10 rules are? My 10 rules are easy as well. My 10 rules are as follow. Don't rob. Don't rape. Don't hit. Don't kill. Don't abuse. Don't bear false witness against thy neighbor. Don't torture. Don't arson. Don't kidnap. And don't enslave. Again, don't enslave. Don't kidnap. Don't arson. Don't torture. Don't bear false witness against thy neighbor. Don't abuse. Don't kill. Don't hit. And then I have 5 subsections under thou shalt not hit. Thou shalt not jab, drag, grab, bag, or stab. Thou shalt not rape, and thou shalt not rob. Now you might say, well, I agree or disagree or something. It doesn't matter. This is the law for Colorado, so it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree. You can't do this shit, motherfuckers. You can't do this shit. So, where am I at now? Georgia Guidestones. Let's just finish up with the facts. Just the facts, ma'am. Let's see. Don't be a cancer on earth. What? Don't be a cancer on earth. Prize truth. Fuck you. You damn stone. Prize truth and beauty and love. What are they trying to be? A new 10 Commandments? They're trying to replace Christianity. Seek harmony with the infinite. What the hell is the infinite? That's God, motherfucker. The eternal Jesus. Balance personal rights with social. Yeah, you got freedoms, but you got social duties to avoid petty laws and useless officials. That's just good, basic common sense right there. That's a dumb petty law. That official, fuck that. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. That's just common sense. Let countries rule the way they want to rule, and if countries are fighting against each other, you should have a world court. A world court that we all agree on, that's run by Bolivia or Cuba. Let Cuba run the world court. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Yet, once again, without justice, there is no peaceful society. There is no civilization. So protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Of course we should have fair laws. Of course we should have just courts. We should rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. We're going to bring an age of reason, right? So you need logic. That's all we really got anyways, is logic. Rule passion, faith, tradition. Unite humanity with a living new language. I think that's brilliant. If it's not English, if English isn't the lingua franca, then perhaps Creole could be the lingua franca. It's just created. It's made up, but it's all made up, and language is where culture comes from. So I think that's beautiful. Will we ever get a lingua franca? Is English? Is it, Mandarin? Is it Swahili? Is that the new language? Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Is that eugenics? They're talking about eugenics. It could just be, don't just let anybody and everybody just, have a bunch of white trash, and then smartly, be smart about it. Just improve fitness, diversity. That's all it says. So, if you see more to these words and what's there, then you're reading more into these words and what's actually there. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. There is a lot of motherfucking people. Earth can only hold so many people. I don't know what the maximum amount is. So if it's not 500 million, what is the maximum amount? Because we are overburdening Earth. We're also increasing the likelihood of some madman getting a hold of a nuclear weapon and destroying the rest of us. So, not saying that I'm not for depopulation in the least. I'm just saying that they're assuming an apocalypse has happened. So there probably isn't 1 million people there. So 500 million would be aspirational, not, taking it back. It's just saying that if we destroyed ourselves and there's only 1 million, let's right here, right now. And if you think about it like that, this earth can only hold so many people. Now what? Now, with those parameters in mind, what kind of society are we creating? Chris Kubis said that the instructions were meant for a future population after a cataclysmic event. There are 4 different names of ancient languages inscribed near the top of the stones: Babylonian cuneiform, Classical Greek, Sanskrit, and Egyptian hieroglyphics. Robert C. Christian, 1980, the Elberton Granite Finishing Company, was claiming to represent a small group of loyal Americans. He wanted the landmark to function as a compass, calendar, and clock. Ironically insisted that it must be capable of withstanding catastrophic events. It couldn't even withstand a fucking bomb. So, God, this Elberton granite seems like it's the crappiest granite in the world. It didn't even hold up after a little tiny bomb. After being baffled by the construction plans, Elberton Granite believed the client was a nut. In a bid to discourage him, the granite company quoted an astronomical cost that was much higher than any of their other previous projects. However, Robert C. Christian, he paid up. He bizarrely accepted the pricey deal, provided a small-scale model of his vision with 10 pages of specifications. He also claimed to be acting on behalf of an anonymous group that had been planning the project for 20 years. To date, almost 2 decades, 4 decades, no one knows who R.C. Christian really is or the names of those he represented. So, there you go. There you go! Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Guide reproduction wisely. Improving fitness and diversity. Unite humanity with a living new language. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Balance personal rights with social duties. Prize truth, beauty, love. Seeking harmony with the infinite, be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature, leave room for nature. We could either live that way or we could live the Jordan Peterson way, which is what? Stand up straight with your shoulders back. Treat yourself like someone you're responsible for helping. Make friends with people who want the best for you. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Don't let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. Set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. Pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. Tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Assume that the person you're listening to might know something you don't. Be precise in your speech. Do not bother children when they're skateboarding. Pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. Or we can live by Johnny's Law. And what's Johnny's Law? Johnny's Law is pretty easy. Don't rob, rape, hit or kill. Don't rob, rape, hit or kill. Don't abuse. Don't bear false witness. Don't torture. Don't arson. Don't kidnap nor enslave. Don't enslave. Don't kidnap. Don't arson. Don't torture. Look at that. Those are all 2-syllable words. Don't abuse. Don't bear false witness. And then don't rob or rape. 1 syllable, 1 syllable. Don't hit or kill. 1 syllable, 1 syllable. Pretty simple. A nice common law, a nice eternal common law for all of humanity, especially for Colorado. These are already laws on the books in Colorado. They're already on the books. I don't have to convince you that these things are evil and wrong and that we shouldn't be doing these things to each other. I don't even have to try to convince you. They just are fucking wrong and they're illegal as fuck. So other people have already thought about it and they agree with yours truly.